Greetings, family. This is Bomani Tamba, and we're live on Revolutionary Cam. I'm in ATL, Georgia. I'm with my good brother, KingMan. Yes, brother.
Yes, brother. Yes, brother.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going great. It won't
Family.
happen no other way.
We're here to talk about an important conversation. As a matter of fact, it's called the importance of supporting Black-owned business.
Yes.
And yourself, as a strong Black warrior brother,
Yes.
who's been to the continent, been here in America, doing a lot of wonderful things.
Yes.
How do you see the importance of supporting Black-owned business, and take us from before integration and then after integration?
Wow, that is a very wonderful and a needed conversation, because as we understand the importance of supporting Black-owned businesses, as we use the barometer of before integration and after integration, those that happen to be my age and older, including yourself being a young child during that revolution, understand that before integration, Black people had businesses, stores, trades, and organizations, was doing very well. And then we got indoctrinated with the conversation of integration, thinking that we should not be separate, but we should be merged. The mistaken error of that is that we integrated with the whites, and the whites moved further away to separate themselves from us. So we closed our businesses thinking that we need to go do business with them, and they took their money and went further away from us. And what happened, we found ourselves moving into an impoverished state. And now we are rebounding because we see the errors of our ways. Before that, brick masons were Black people, the concrete masons were Black people, the trades were very highly, strongly represented as by Black people, including the males and the females. Now you look around and you see those jobs are no longer Black people on them, but you hardly see any Black people on them at all. So we unemployed ourselves through integration. Now we have realized that we need to straighten that back out. We go into theories that the white man's ice is colder, so we don't want to buy ice from Black people, or Black people are not skilled. But we built the pyramids. We practically invented everything that exists in this industrial climate of work, and the history books prove it. Yes, we did not get the accreditation for a lot of those things, but people like Eli Whitney, George Washington Carver, just to name a couple, have shown that we are very highly skilled people. Our thoughts, our mind, our skin color allows us to be energized by being out and working.
Yes.
And I use myself for an example. I'm a master electrician, I'm a master carpenter. I just got my certification a couple of years ago in HVAC and in HVAC.
Excellent.
And things like this, where we say, well, Europeans use a statement, we can't find any people of color that have those skills that we need. That's a misnomer. That's just a conversation. So we need to support Black-owned businesses. One thing that we must realize, a person of color, a Black man or a Black woman, is someone we can trust, someone that lives among us, where if we do businesses with other people, they take our money and might not intentionally do something to an inferior state, but their mindset does not a lot of times allow them to do it to the point of above and beyond, where we are reared that way to always do more than what we get paid for. And that's something that we need to be teaching our children, how to be of integrity. And so thank you for having that conversation and allowing me to participate with you and the rest of the listening audience and the viewing audience. It's our turn. We need a revolution, not one of violence, but one of peace and love, because we understand how our parents and our elders and our great-grandparents and grandmothers taught us. So it's our fault that our children are behaving the way they are, because we realized that when they took prayer out of school, they brought the gun, they brought the what they call the things that scan for weapons, everyone knows what I'm saying.
They scan for weapons, the metal detectors.
Yeah, the metal detectors. They took prayer out and brought metal detectors in. So that right there, the evidence, you can go back and view that. You can go back and read it. You can go back and study it. When you take God out, evil comes in. And so we got to put the evil out and bring God back in. Not saying that everyone should be honoring the same religion. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we need to put the spirit of peace and love back into our children, back into our schools, back into our lives, and stop emulating things of this world which are not of a natural state. And we need to be very thankful for our ancestors that paved the way for us. So that's why it's important for us to honor black people that have businesses and do trade with black people that have business, so we can keep our monies within the community and use it over and over and over, and still letting it drive away from us, and we haven't accomplished anything.
That's perfect. I appreciate you sharing that, and that's where it's at. It's really to the point where we gave up our independence, for integration, and then what do we really accomplish? That's where the point where we're trying to see. So we know that it's a painful loss, and we literally have to figure something out. So we're here to share with our brothers and sisters on a global scale, because what I tend to just connect more of our people with. We do tours, wonderful tours to the African continent, and one of the things I'm always telling us is what we have to do when we do these business and set business up. Sometimes you're not going to win to where you can just make it 100% black owned, where you have your black owned airlines, you have your hotels, your tour company, and so on. But whenever you can do that, please, family, we got to make sure it happens. I think one of the blackest tours we have ever done is just the Ghana and Ethiopia tour. I would say more so Ethiopia, because Ethiopia own their own airlines, and that's one of the biggest part of tourism, is that the tickets you're gonna have to buy for you to leave from one location to the next. So I'm all, so Ethiopia, that's a relationship we're building in our country, and we're building it on a world-class level to where, we want to see Ethiopian Airlines take over Africa as far as aviation, because one of the things when I went to Ethiopian Airlines facility, incredible top-of-the-notch world-class facility, and I compare it with the Delta facility, just being an aircraft technician and working at the Atlanta airport, and being able to see the different facilities there at the Atlanta airport, and then all the Delta facilities. And Ethiopia, I would go a step further and say theirs is top-notch, because they got newer equipment. I mean, and they got fresh teenagers that they're teaching aviation to. And I remember being an 18-year-old student in the Navy and studying aviation, and just understanding how powerful this was, because you're dealing with a whole other concept of technology and trade. You're dealing with a machine that flies. It's one of those things where sometimes we think in our mind that white people just own aviation and white people just own everything, but Ethiopian Airlines family, one of the blackest, strongest nation I've ever been in, and that's what we call black power. And then when we deal with Ghana, what I love about Ghana is that Ghana has a lot of beautiful Ghanaian hotels. But at the same time, too, this is the trick.
Come on.
You have a lot of European brand, American brand, and other brands in that pool. Ethiopia was sharp to lock it down to where the plane that you're going to get on to get around Ethiopia is going to be Ethiopian Airlines. There's no doubt about that. You have no other option. But most of the world that we live in, whether we're in Jamaica or Ghana, your economy, you have to compete with the foreigners. You have to compete with the imperialists and the colonizers. You have to compete yourself with the slave traders, with people who have literally don't have the same interests as the local people. So that's where we come at a concept where we come to Ghana, Accra, Kumasi, a lot of incredible, beautiful African Ghanaian-owned hotels. As a matter of fact, and lots of Ghanaian and Nigerian and just African banks in general. So it's a place of black energy. But if we decide that we're going to go to a country like Ghana, and we're going to go to the Hilton, the Marriott, and all these other brands, then what does that do over a period of time to the Ghanaian industry? What it does, it's give more money to the Marriott and the rest of those chains, and they use their money, their investment that you are investing in them, and they build their brand, but they're not necessarily investing in your country. So a Ghanaian and a local business person, their heart, that's where their family is there, everything for them is there in the country. So they want to see the country grow and develop it. So the more we support our own entity, that's how you see more flows of bigger class of hotels and so on. But if we just think that we're gonna do the opposite way, just because we come from America and you may have nice jobs where you're making 6 figures. Like I've had 1 or 2 people say that they want to upgrade, and I'm fine with the upgrade. The thing of it is, when you do an upgrade, you basically telling us that you are better than us. You want to stay in a 5-star hotel owned by white people, and you don't appreciate this wonderful black-owned hotel that you get the greatest customer service. You feel like you're more at a home feel, because part of the experience in Africa is you want to go to an African continent where you go to certain countries like Ghana and you have that home feel, and that home feel is never going to be a European brand. You may go to somewhere, another country, and you use those brands, but when you go into Africa, family, make sure we find the African hotels and book and do business with them, because that's the only way we're going to grow. And I'll say even beyond that, me, my tour guide and our staff, what we do is we talk directly with the owners and the managers of the different hotels. We build a relationship to where we're not telling the folks at the hotel what to do, but we also getting them prepped for our brothers and sisters from the African diaspora, because some of us unfortunately have a whitewash mentality, even the ones of us that's called pro-black and pan-African, because we still have the mentality that like you're talking about, things that white people do is better, that they so we have this layout to where people can really see the quality of what we're talking about, and then them supporting it, we show the future of how the country is going. Just like Ghana is one of the more productive African countries that have a lot of things going for itself. But then again, you think about the president. The president spent a good amount of his younger years here in America, around the revolutionary energy here in the East Coast, and he was able to bring that energy back to his country. And then what he did most of all, I love about Kwame Nkrumah, him and just like Haile Selassie, reached out to the Africans in the diaspora. Kwame Nkrumah energy was more practical because he lived amongst the brothers and sisters here. And I thought that was a perfect energy for a president, because one of the important aspects of Africa rising, Africa growing, Africa developing, and Africa going anywhere is the African diaspora and the Africans on the continent connecting and working together. Because if we just build an Africa where European and Asian brands come in and they do everything, railroads, airplanes, airports, and so on, and then we don't, and even if they do that and then we don't get involved where we're picking up certain trades and things, and I even go back to sell people. That's what I was in the Navy, and I went and I learned certain things, and everything that I've learned that are positive and good and productive is what we're looking to take to the African continent, and all of the bad things that we learn that we don't need to bring, we leave in here. So when you're there on the continent and you're connecting with your own brothers and sisters, you don't come off as a person that's bougie or a certain way. You come off as someone that that they understand and link with, and that's why it's important that when we do business in African continent, we talk to the managers, the owners of business, and we as managers and owners also connect and we talk about what we can do, because I always believe that people govern a society, not the government itself. So whatever the people want, the people decide that they want, and they will come together and they make it happen. And government is just a representation of what the people want, and somehow it's like flipped the other way around. So family, we're talking about the importance of supporting African black-owned business on a global scale here in America and here on the African continent and so on. And before we close, I just wanted to connect with you and wonder if you wanted to share some last-minute thoughts or add on to what we talked about.
I do, and the thoughts that I would like to share is that Carter G. Woodson wrote a wonderful book called The Miseducation of the Negro. And what we have to do is understand that when we pick up that volume and we decode the message that's in there, that the reason we behave, the majority of us, the way that we behave is because we have been taught that behavior subliminally through media and other means. By naturality, we are good people. We have creativity within our whole dynamics of a human being. And what we have to do is unlearn what we think is correct and embrace what is correct. The thing is that it says that if you keep doing the same thing you've been doing, you're going to keep getting the same thing you've been getting. So in order to get something different, we must do what? Do something different. It's insanity to think that it's going to fall out of the sky. So what am I saying? What are you saying, KingMan? I'm saying this. It says that a mind is a terrible thing to waste. We must study to show ourselves approved. a workman, a workwoman unto God, rightly discerning the word of truth, so that we need not be ashamed of who we are. We are the original people. We came from the motherland, Africa, the birthplace of civilization, the Garden of Eden. Prove me wrong. Look at the rivers that are talked about in the scripture, and you will see they still exist. Where are they? They're not in the United States. What is the Suez Canal? It's a man-made waterway that purposely created flooding to separate what they call Eastern. Yeah, that's it. Now you're getting it. To see that it was all connected, and that Egypt is part of Africa, the motherland, Kemet. That's where we come from. And that's what Jesus said, when you see me, you seen the Father. And as I'm saying that we are God's original people, we're the owner, the makers, the cream of the planet Earth, created by the God of the universe. Many names, one. And as we not get into arguments about that, and I end with this, never argue with the fool. Just put up the hand and say, prove me wrong. Thank you for this opportunity. And keep up the good work. And may your audience, those that have not been to Africa, connect with Brother here. And let Brother Bomani and his organization take you home. Because my first trip, I said, I've been tricked. I was on an airplane that had a double-decker airplane. The downstairs and the upstairs, it was so huge. The pilot, a black man, said, ladies and gentlemen, we are flying over Africa. I looked down at South Africa and I saw grids and highways. Maybe that's not present in Ghana at this state, but we have the talent and the ability, is what I'm saying, to keep it developed. Because we must realize who we are. The President of the United States, Barack Obama, said this: yes, we can. Yes, we can. And the code word that Nike uses is what? Just do it.
Absolutely.
Do the right thing. As Spike Lee say, do the right thing. Go home. Eat some of that wonderful reconnecting soil that we are made from, so that our breath can expand. We know who we are. Stop letting people define us when we've already been told who we are. We're great. We're wonderful. We are. Yes, we are. And so let's do it. Let's move ahead and embrace our competitors with love. And that's what overtakes all evil. The power of turning the other cheek is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. It's a sign of, like Muhammad Ali said, you can't hear what you can't see. You mess around with me, you get stung by a bee. Not out of aggression, not out of oppression, but out of intellect. So as we say thank you for this opportunity once again, it's our turn.
Absolutely, KingMan, appreciate your energy. And family, you can visit our website to check out all our incredible details on our Africa tours and investment at africafortheafricans.org. And you can link us on any kind of technology at bomaniitservices.com. All of our information is on our site. It links you to other pages that we have, YouTube, Facebook, and so on. And yes, this is the world that we are building. It's called Africa for the Africans. It's more than just a business organization. It's a movement. It's the energy. It's a way of life. It's a philosophy. It's a thinking. It's based on the strategic philosophy and analysis of Marcus Garvey in the struggle of today's issues. So Africa for Africans, family, and let's keep on supporting black-owned business. Let's keep on going above that also and create black-owned business. That way, when all of our wonderful children that we send to all of these universities that we've been sending to for decades, for them to get a good education and go get a good job, but we want to take away some of the aspect of that. Let's go further and build these corporations and build these enterprises, so when our children finish and learn all these wonderful things, they can work in interests of their own and work to where we can develop things for ourselves. So family, a wonderful country like Ghana is a country where we're doing an incredible repatriation movement. Check out the center of the country. It's called the Brong-Ahafo region. Check out Techiman, the second popular city in that area. The main one is Sunyani. But in Techiman, we're out in a neighborhood or a community or a small town called Boyam. And the purpose of that energy is for us to build onto the communities that we have. Our sister Nunet of Benue Village, has done an incredible job by setting up there, and then we have a connection land that's connected to her. So that's a double, family of repatriation energy, where we just connect you with like a brother and sister African diaspora community. We're looking for more people who are looking to get access to land and build business. Think about that region, because you have nothing but land. So if you want to build a world-class theme park for your children because you get tired of going down to Disney World and Legoland, and your family, we welcome that. As a matter of fact, we're always looking for brothers and sisters who are investors to think about those concepts, and we have things that we can work out for you as your representative that got your back. And that's why it's Africa for the Africans. Tour is an investment. The tour aspect is the energy where we link you into the country, and investment is the energy where we build things, and we also put ourselves in a position where we're part of the future of the continent, the future of countries like Ghana and so on. So there's a lot of other countries also in the African continent, and we tell them, brothers and sisters, if you want to be a pioneer and do some research, get out there, make some moves, put things together, and work in the interest of your brothers and sisters. It's a lot of work to be done. There's so much work to be done. No one should be out there just talking about this and that, because our scholars have done the research. They have put things together. And all we have to do is trust the research, trust the things that we have put in place, and even us. If you reach out to us and say you want to live and do business in Ghana, we recommend you come on a tour. And even if you can't come on a tour, we'll connect you there in the country to the point where you're connected with the right people, because we want to see things progressive in the continent, to where that's why we set up things to where we have that incredible network in Ghana, because we want to make sure when any of our brothers and sisters leave from America and they go to Ghana, they're connected with the right people, and that way we cut out a lot of the unnecessary things and get right to work. So family, that's what it's about, family. As you see, Africa for the Africans, inspired by our great ancestor Marcus Garvey. And we're looking to just keep it black and keep it strong. And my brother KingMan, appreciate the energy. And family, keep in touch with us, and we'll link you on the journey of a lifetime and all the incredible things that we're doing. And keep supporting black-owned business and keep it strong.
Keep hope alive.